Hey everyone, and welcome back for another deep dive. Today we are going to tackle something truly fascinating, the Shinto creation myth.
Ooh, yeah.
It's not just some ancient story,
Exactly.
It really shapes a lot of Japanese culture.
Right.
We're talking everything from spiritual beliefs to the imperial family's lineage, like their whole origin story.
Absolutely.
I've got some seriously juicy stuff to unpack here.
Yeah,
Divine drama, sibling rivalry, and, a hero with a pretty surprising twist.
definitely.
Are you ready to dive in?
Let's do it.
All right, so one of the things that has always fascinated me about this myth is how it connects to the Japanese concept of majestic. That idea of harmony and balance.
Absolutely. What's really interesting about this myth is that it's not just about like the physical creation of the world.
Right.
It's like this reflection of how the Japanese view the interconnectedness of everything.
Yeah, it's like this blueprint for how to live in the world.
Exactly.
So let's actually start at the very beginning. We're
Yeah.
talking like before the beginning.
Right.
Picture this like a universe that's basically a blank canvas, just this formless void, no land, no sky,
Just pure potential.
pure potential. But then enter these two divine siblings, Izanagi and Izanami.
Yeah.
They're given this huge task, right? They got to bring order to all this chaos,
Right.
create the world.
It's a big job.
So how do they do it?
Well, you can almost imagine them like these cosmic artists, right?
Okay.
They have this divine spear adorned with jewels, and they're using it to stir this primordial soup.
I love that imagery. That's awesome.
And from this swirling chaos, what emerges?
What?
Onagoro Island, the very first solid landmass.
Wow.
It's like creation literally emerging from nothingness.
That is pretty impressive, I gotta say. But
Yeah.
even gods can mess things up, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Because their first attempt at creation didn't quite go to plan.
Not exactly. Yeah.
Also, what happened?
Well, their first attempt resulted in offspring that were, let's just say, less than ideal.
Less than ideal.
And this is where the importance of ritual in Shintoism really comes in.
Okay, so like, how does that play into this whole creation gone wrong situation?
So in Shintoism, rituals aren't just these empty actions, right? They're like a way to connect with the kami.
Those are the divine forces that kind of permeate everything, right?
Exactly. And by performing rituals correctly, you maintain a meet that essential harmony.
So it's not just about like saying the right words. It's about really creating a state of balance.
Exactly. It's about alignment with the divine.
Alignment with the divine. Okay, so Izanagi and Izanami, they kind of messed up the ritual the first time around,
Right.
but then they get it right.
They do. They finally get it right. And what happens?
What?
They successfully bring forth the Japanese islands and all the deities of nature.
Oh, wow. So that's how it all comes together.
It really emphasizes how crucial this balance is for creation
Right.
and for just maintaining order in the world.
Okay, so we've got land, we've got gods.
Things are looking up.
Things are looking pretty good.
Yeah.
But then things take a bit of a dark turn. Izanami, while giving birth to Kagetsuchi, the fire god, tragically dies.
This is a pivotal moment in the myth,
Okay.
It introduces the concept of death and the underworld, which are both really essential to the whole Shinto belief system.
Yeah, death is a pretty big deal.
Yeah. And it also kind of foreshadows the destructive power of fire,
Okay.
which we're going to see play out later in the story.
Now you've got me really intrigued.
Yeah.
So what happens next? Does Izanagi just accept this loss, or?
Well, he does what any heartbroken husband might do.
Okay.
He embarks on this desperate quest to the underworld to retrieve his beloved Izanami.
Oh, wow. A journey to the underworld.
It's a classic hero's journey,
Yeah.
but with a Shinto twist.
Okay. I'm hooked. Tell me more about this journey.
Well, picture this, Izanagi descending into this dark and desolate realm,
Yeah.
searching for his wife, and he finds her.
Okay.
But she's not the same Izanami he knew.
What do you mean?
Death has transformed her,
Oh.
and not in a good way.
So I'm guessing she's not exactly thrilled to see him?
Not quite. In fact, she's become this horrifying figure consumed by the decay of death.
So what does Izanagi do?
Well, he's terrified, and understandably so. He flees from the underworld,
Okay.
and he seals it off behind him.
Wow. That's a pretty dramatic way to establish those boundaries.
It is, right? And this act actually creates a permanent separation between the world of the living and the realm of the dead,
Okay.
which is like a core concept in Shinto belief.
Gotcha. So he's back in the land of the living, but
Yeah.
escaping the underworld doesn't exactly mean he's in the clear, right?
You're right, he needs to cleanse himself of this defilement of
Makes
death.
sense.
And it's from this purification ritual that three incredibly powerful deities are born.
Okay, is this where we meet those stellar siblings?
It is.
All right, bring them on.
From his left eye is born Amaterasu, the radiant sun goddess.
Awesome.
From his right eye comes Tsukuyomi, the cool and reflective moon god.
Okay.
And from his nose emerges Susanoo, the wild and unpredictable storm god.
Whoa, okay, hold on. So we've got light, we've got darkness, and the forces of nature.
It's a powerful trio.
Very powerful trio. But I have a feeling this family reunion, it's not going to be all sunshine and rainbows, is it?
Let's just say that sibling rivalry takes on a whole new meaning when you're dealing with deities.
Uh, uh...
And trust me, things are about to get very interesting.
All right, well then we will have to pick up this story after the break.
Sounds good. Welcome back. So we left off with Izanagi creating this trio of super powerful deities, right?
Yeah, Amaterasu, Tsukuyomi, and Susanoo, those stellar siblings.
Exactly, but as you might imagine with siblings,
Oh, yeah.
especially ones with like cosmic powers,
Yeah.
things aren't always going to be harmonious.
Right, family dynamics, even for gods, can get a little messy.
Oh, for sure. And one of the most significant events in the whole myth actually involves Tsukuyomi and Amaterasu.
Okay, what happened?
So Tsukuyomi, she's attending this feast, hosted by Ukamochi, the goddess of food.
Okay, a divine dinner party. I like it.
Right, but Ukamochi had a rather unique way of creating food.
Yeah.
Let's just say it involved bodily functions.
Oh, okay, so maybe not the most appetizing feast.
No, not really. And Tsukuyomi, witnessing this, he's so disgusted that he actually kills Ukamochi.
Whoa, talk about a strong reaction.
Right, he just totally violates that sacred harmony mod that we were talking about earlier.
So I'm guessing Amaterasu was not too happy about this.
She was furious. She saw this act as like a total betrayal, and she banishes Tsukuyomi,
Oh, wow.
which causes the separation of day and night.
So that's how that happened. Fascinating how they explain these natural phenomena through these divine relationships.
Right, it really emphasizes how seriously the Shinto tradition takes like the balance of nature,
Yeah.
the respect for all life.
Right. So what about Susanoo? We talked about him having some anger issues.
Oh, yeah.
Does he get involved in all this drama too?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
He is consumed by jealousy towards Amaterasu and all her power.
Oh, no.
So he decides to unleash his full rage on Earth.
Oh, boy.
Think like dried up rivers, ruined rice fields, even the celestial weavers, those who spin the fabric of life, they're terrified into silence.
That sounds catastrophic.
It's a complete disruption of the natural order.
So what does Amaterasu do? Does she just sit back and watch all this happen?
No, she's devastated by the destruction and by this betrayal, and so she retreats into a cave,
A cave.
plunging the world into darkness.
Oh, no.
And with her absence, evil spirits run wild. Everything starts to wither and die. It's really a stark illustration of what happens when that harmony moth is disrupted.
Right. Chaos reigns.
Exactly. And life itself is threatened.
So how do they coax Amaterasu out of this self-imposed exile?
Well, this is where the myth takes a surprisingly lighthearted turn.
Okay, I'm intrigued.
So the gods, they know that Amaterasu is a little bit vain.
Okay.
So they decide to stage this elaborate ruse.
A ruse. Okay, I like where this is going.
They craft this sacred mirror adorned with jewels, and they hang it on a tree outside the cave.
Okay.
And then Amiya Uzume, the goddess of dawn and revelry, she performs this totally outrageous dance.
Okay, I'm picturing a divine burlesque show or something.
Yeah, something like that. The dance is so wild, so funny, that the other gods erupt in laughter.
I love that.
And that laughter, that sound of pure joy,
Yeah.
is what finally piques Amaterasu's curiosity.
I love how this story highlights the power of laughter.
It really does.
So she peeks out of the cave, sees her reflection in the mirror, and
Drawn by her own beauty and the infectious joy of the gods, she emerges from the cave, bringing light back to the world.
it's a good reminder that even in the darkest of times, laughter and beauty and hope can prevail.
Exactly. But what about Susanoo?
Right. Does he get away with causing all that chaos?
Well, he doesn't escape punishment. The gods, they banish him from heaven, sending him down to earth.
Okay, that's a fair.
But this banishment, it's not the end of Susanoo's story. In fact, it kind of marks the beginning of his journey towards redemption.
Redemption. Okay, I'm listening.
And remember that fire god Kagutsuchi, whose birth led to Izanami's death?
Oh, yeah.
Well, his fiery nature is not done causing trouble just yet.
Oh, what do you mean?
So as Susanoo descends to earth, he encounters this family that's in deep distress.
What's going on?
They've lost 7 daughters to this fearsome 8-headed dragon, Yamada no Orochi.
An eight-headed dragon.
Yeah, and this creature was born from Kagutsuchi's fiery essence.
Oh, wow. So it's like the fire god's legacy of destruction
Yeah,
continues.
exactly, and now their 8th daughter, this beautiful woman named Kushinada Hime, she's about to be sacrificed to appease this beast.
Oh, no, that's awful. So what does Susanoo do? Okay, so Susanoo finds himself, face to face with this terrifying eight-headed dragon and a damsel in distress. So what does he do?
Well, this is where we see a real shift in Susanoo's character. He's not that impulsive, destructive force anymore.
Right.
He's moved by compassion for this family and, maybe a little smitten with Kushinada Hime's beauty.
Ah, so there's a little romance in the air.
Maybe just a little, and he vows to protect her and slay the beast.
Okay, so he's gonna fight this dragon, but how do you even begin to fight an eight-headed dragon?
Well, Susanoo, being a clever guy, he comes up with this plan that's as ingenious as it is unexpected. He brews 8 massive vats of the finest sake.
Sake of the rice wine.
Exactly. And he presents them as an offering to the dragon.
Wait a minute, he gets the dragon drunk.
He does.
That is brilliant.
Yamata no Orochi can't resist this tempting treat, so he guzzles down all the sake and promptly passes out.
All 8 heads.
All 8 heads snoring away in a drunken stupor.
Talk about a party foul. So with the dragon out cold, Susanoo goes in for the kill.
Exactly. He draws his sword, and one by one he slices off each of the dragon's heads.
Wow.
But here's the most crucial moment when he reaches the tail.
Okay.
As he cuts it open, he discovers this hidden treasure. The legendary sword, Kusanagi no Tsurugi.
The legendary sword.
The sword is imbued with immense power, and it actually becomes one of the 3 imperial regalia of Japan.
Wow, so he defeats chaos and gains this powerful tool for the future. It's pretty symbolic.
It is, and what does he do with this incredible sword?
What?
He presents it to Amaterasu.
As a peace offering.
Exactly. It's a gesture of apology and reconciliation, a real symbol of his transformation.
So he's acknowledging his past mistakes.
He is, and he's seeking forgiveness.
What does Amaterasu say?
She's moved by his sincerity in this symbolic offering, and she forgives him.
Oh, that's a nice ending.
This moment really signifies the restoration of harmony, both within their family and in the world as a whole.
Right, so the Kusanagi sword that becomes one of the 3 imperial regalia of Japan.
Yes. Along with the sacred mirror from the cave and a special necklace, they represent Amaterasu's authority and that divine right to rule that is passed down through the imperial lineage.
That's amazing. So we've gone from the creation of the world all the way to the establishment of the imperial family, all in this one myth.
Pretty incredible, right?
It is, but all of this happened ages ago. So how is it still relevant in modern Japan? Do people think about Izanagi and Izanami in their everyday lives?
It's not like they're constantly thinking about these deities, but the influence of Shinto and these myths, it's woven into the fabric of Japanese culture.
Okay, I see what you mean.
It's in their reverence for nature, the importance of ritual and purity. And even in the deep respect for the imperial family, you might not see people bowing down to statues of Izanagi, but you'll definitely see their legacy in everyday life.
So it's more about the underlying values and beliefs that are shaped by these stories. It's like cultural DNA.
Exactly. And for example, have you ever heard of Matsuri,
That's really...
Japanese festivals?
I've heard of them, but I don't know much about them. Tell me more.
Well, many of them are rooted in Shinto beliefs, and they celebrate these deities. We've been discussing people gather at shrines that are adorned with beautiful decorations. They wear traditional clothing, participate in ancient rituals, and give offerings to the kami.
That sounds amazing. It's like the myth comes alive in these celebrations.
It does, and it's not just festivals. Shinto shrines dedicated to various kamis, they're scattered all throughout Japan.
Right, I've seen pictures. They're beautiful.
They are, and people visit these shrines to pay their respects, make wishes, seek guidance. They're these really tranquil spaces where you can just feel a connection to the spiritual realm and all that history that's infused in these places.
It's really fascinating how a story that originated centuries ago can still have such a profound impact on a modern society. So what would you say is the most important thing you hope our listener takes away from this deep dive?
I think it's the understanding that myths aren't just stories. They're really like windows into a culture's soul. They reveal a people's values, beliefs, fears, and aspirations, and by exploring them, we gain a deeper understanding not just of another culture, but of ourselves,
Right.
and that shared human experience that connects us all.
That's a beautiful way to put it, and I think this deep dive has definitely opened my eyes to the richness and depth of Japanese culture.
I'm glad to hear that, and if you're ever curious to learn more, I encourage you to explore other creation myths from around the world. Compare them, contrast them, see what universal themes emerged. It's a fascinating journey.
I think I might just do that. Well, that's all the time we have for today's deep dive. We hope you enjoyed our exploration of the Shinto creation myth and that you'll join us again for another fascinating journey into the world of knowledge and ideas. Until next time.